Somewhere along the way, we have been conditioned to believe that weight loss and healthy eating, healthy living has to be miserable, right? We're convinced that healthy eating means eating broccoli and chicken and rice on repeat, that it's tiny portions, always feeling hungry, spending loads of money on healthy foods. And honestly, I feel like that's why so many people struggle, because when you start feeling like something that you're doing is a punishment, you're not going to want to stick to it for very long, right? But over the last few months, I have lost nearly 12 kilos, and I'm going to be completely honest here. I haven't had broccoli and chicken and rice a single time. One of the questions that I get asked the most since losing my weight is, what do you actually eat? And people are usually quite disappointed at my answer because they're looking for a magic recipe or some healthy superfood, when in fact, the truth is that the only thing that's changed is that I eat pretty much the same meals every single day, 6 days a week. So every Sunday and Wednesday, I spend about 2 hours meal prepping for the next 3 days. So every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I eat the same 3 meals on repeat. And then on Sundays, we usually do something different, whether that be making a nice breakfast or going out for lunch, getting a takeaway for dinner, whatever it is, as long as it's in those calories that I have allotted for myself, we are able to eat whatever we want. If we want a certain meal, like a home cooked meal, I'll make it. If we just want something different, we'll have something different on a Sunday. And I know that some people are probably listening to this being like, oh my God, you actually sound insane. And myself a year ago, I would have probably thought the exact same, but I used to think that if I was eating the same thing and over and over and over again, I would just get fed up and want something different and order a takeaway and ruin my progress. But in fact, something completely different and unexpected actually happened. The more I started doing this, the less I started thinking about food. And the less that I started thinking about food, the easier eating healthy actually became. I stopped constantly going to the fridge and opening and shutting it, expecting food to magically appear. I stopped relying on motivation after a long day of, working or being out. I stopped making emotional decisions of what I should eat. Instead, all that I have to do is open the fridge, grab one of the boxes that have already been prepared, and go and eat it. I don't have to think about anything. I don't have decision fatigue. I don't end up ordering a takeaway because I can't be bothered cooking. And looking back now, I don't actually think that my weight loss became so easy because I got disciplined. I actually think that it became easier because I just simplified everything. The easier that you can make choosing the healthier decision for yourself, the easier the weight is going to fall off you. One thing that I've learned about this is that weight loss isn't about making every single right decision. It's about making very few good, correct decisions that are going to automate other good decisions to actually happen in your life. I used to think that variety was key. I would spend hours looking up all kinds of different healthy recipes, buying ingredients that I would only ever use once, and making every single meal from scratch completely different because I thought that I would lose motivation and I'd get bored of what I was eating. But in reality, all that variety did was give me more opportunities to give up and not follow through and order the takeaway or order the bad food or grab something quick and easy instead of having something that's, nutrient dense and helps me hit my macros every single day. But then I actually came across something really, really different. Research has actually found that people that have a smaller variety of food choices often have better success at long-term weight loss. One of the biggest reasons for this is decision fatigue. Think about how many decisions you already make every single day. What time you should wake up? What are the kids gonna wear? What are you gonna wear? Are you gonna go to the gym today? Are you gonna go for a walk? Every single day you are filling your day with decisions. So by the evening, most of us are already mentally completely drained. So when we're deciding on what we're going to eat, we are mostly relying on motivation. And motivation is unreliable, but systems aren't. So every Sunday and every Wednesday, I make the decisions while I'm already motivated. I plan, I shop, I cook. Then for the next 3 days, I don't have to think about food again. I just open a fridge, take what I need and eat it. My meals might look repetitive, but my results aren't, because I stopped chasing variety and I started chasing consistency. So before we can meal prep, we need the food. And I think that this is where healthy eating gets overcomplicated. Social media makes it look like you need to buy all of the health foods, right? The powders, the supplements, organic everything, exotic ingredients that you've probably never even heard of. But if you look at my shopping list, there is nothing extravagant in there. It is just normal every single day items, simple ingredients that we know how to eat. For example, eggs, one of the cheapest sources of fat and protein that you can buy. They become breakfasts, lunches, wraps. They keep you full for hours. And I don't buy them because they're trendy, I buy them because they work. Greek yogurt, probably one of my favorite foods. High in protein, super filling, really affordable. It can be a great breakfast, an amazing snack. Mix it with some protein powder, Angel Delight. One ingredient, a million different uses. Oats, another staple, super inexpensive. They last for ages and you've got breakfast every single day. Frozen veg. But the problem is that I always end up buying too many or too little. So I just buy one of these bags and that'll go with my mint. So I'll do mint and veg, mix it all together and there's no waste. Mint, probably one of my favorite proteins. I always kind of vary between mint and chicken. So I'll either do chicken and veg or like maybe like chicken burgers or something like that, all homemade. Or our staple, which is probably what I would say 90% of the time, is literally mint, red sauce, and that bag of frozen vegetables. Mix it together, divide it by 6. You've got meals for 2 people for the next 3 days. I think that one of the biggest mistakes that people do when they are starting their weight loss journeys is starting to buy food that they don't actually enjoy. Starting to make meals with ingredients that they don't even like. They fill their trolleys with foods that they think that they should eat instead of foods that they actually genuinely like. And after a week, they are right back where they started. I wanted to be able to build a system of eating that I would be able to eat for years to come, because if you are going to build something that you can only eat for the next 6 weeks, it's probably not sustainable enough. One of the biggest objections that I get from people when I'm talking about this is that they think that it's going to be super expensive, and I honestly thought like that for a very long time too, because I always thought that I would have to buy everything organic and, you know, protein this, protein that, superfood this, superfood that. But I actually decided to sit down and add up how much it's costing us to eat like this. And for us personally, for 2 people, it is costing us around £79 a week, which is not bad at all, considering that it's mostly whole foods, a lot of protein. Now I will say, like, this doesn't include obviously the kids snacks and like juices, things like that. This is purely meal prep of what I eat. So I do obviously buy the kids snacks, and you know, Hugh will sometimes get like juice or whatever, like things like that. So this price doesn't obviously include that. Usually our like full week of shopping is somewhere around £100 a week. That's including like all of like the kids stuff as well. So breaking this down, the £79 down, what is that, like £2 something per meal? And when you're thinking about the fact that those meals are actually really healthy, nutrient dense and filling, I think that that's worth it. And when you actually break it down, the cost per meal becomes surprisingly low, and suddenly healthy eating doesn't seem that expensive anymore. And I also think that we sometimes forget to compare it to what we are replacing by eating like this. The takeaways, the coffee shops, the snack cupboards, the drive-thrus. Because if I hadn't prepared these meals beforehand, what would I have eaten in their place? Would it have been a meal deal, a takeaway, a coffee and a pastry while I was out, a few snacks because I couldn't decide what I wanted? And those little purchases add up incredibly quickly. And I don't think that meal prep saves me money because it's cheap. I actually think that it saves me money because of all of the stupid decisions that I would be making with my money if I wouldn't be meal prepping. So now we've done a shop, let's actually turn all of this into meal prep. This part probably looks really boring, and honestly, if you'd asked me a couple of years ago whether I'd ever spend my Sundays preparing meals, I'd probably have laughed, because I thought meal prep was something bodybuilders did, or people who had loads of spare time. But now I actually see it completely differently, because this isn't really about cooking. It's about creating an easier week. Every one of these meals is a decision that I don't have to make later. Every breakfast that's already waiting for me means I don't end up grabbing toast because I'm in a rush. Every lunch that's already prepared means I don't spend 20 minutes standing in front of the fridge wondering what to eat. And every dinner that's ready to go means I'm far less likely to order a takeaway after a long day. I think we've all experienced that moment when you're tired and you're hungry and the kids need something, the house is a mess, and someone says, "What's for dinner?" That's usually when good intentions disappear, not because you're lazy, but because you're overwhelmed. If you were to ask me how I've actually managed to stay consistent this time, I don't think it's because I've suddenly become more motivated, or that all of a sudden I have willpower. I haven't found some secret diet. I haven't discovered some secret supplement. The biggest thing that's changed for me is that I stopped relying on the version of me that was tired, stressed, busy, burnt out and hungry to make good decisions for me. Instead, I let Sunday me take care of Tuesday me, and Wednesday me take care of Friday me. And suddenly healthy eating becomes something I don't have to constantly think about. If there's one thing that I hope that you take away from this video, it's this: you don't need to completely overhaul your entire life overnight. You don't need to cook 20 million different meals. You definitely don't need to spend hundreds of pounds on expensive foods. And you certainly do not need to eat plain chicken and broccoli every single day. Start with one system, one habit that makes your future self's life a little bit easier. Because every single time that you do that, you are making the healthy choice become the easy choice. And I honestly think that this is exactly why this time around the weight loss has came so easily for me. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you subscribed. Every single Sunday I am sharing a little bit of a snippet of my journey of taking myself and my family to a more healthy and sustainable lifestyle, whether that's losing weight, simplifying our routines, or building business systems that give us more time together. I would love you to be a part of this journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Sunday.